Right now, as you sit watching this, there is a very real chance that one or more genuinely poisonous plants are growing in your own garden, planted by your own hands, admired every single day, with absolutely no idea of the danger they hold. That is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to protect you. Because some of the most common and beloved garden flowers in the world are also seriously toxic. And every year, curious children, beloved pets, and unwary adults are harmed by plants that looked perfectly innocent. Our ancestors knew these plants and respected them. We have largely forgotten. Today, I am going to walk you through 8 deadly plants that may be growing in your garden right now, so you can keep the ones you love safe. Now let me be clear about my purpose here, the way a good friend would. My goal is not to make you fear your garden, but to help you truly know it. Most of these plants are perfectly fine to admire and even to grow, as long as you understand what they are and keep them away from anyone who might taste them. Knowledge turns a hidden danger into a manageable one. So walk your flower beds with me in your mind, and let me show you 8 beautiful plants that deserve a great deal more caution than most people ever give them. Some of these you will recognize at once, and 1 or 2 may be blooming just outside your window as you listen. We begin with foxglove, that tall and majestic garden favorite, with its towering spires of purple, pink, and white bell-shaped flowers that look like something out of a fairy tale. It is breathtaking, and it is also profoundly poisonous. Every part of the foxglove contains powerful compounds that act directly on the heart, and even a small amount, if eaten, can be dangerous. It also tends to reseed itself and pop up on its own, so it may be in your garden even if you never planted it. Admire its beauty from a respectful distance, and keep it far from children who might be tempted to pick or taste those pretty bells. Interestingly, this is the very same plant that gave us an important heart medicine, proof that the line between a powerful medicine and a dangerous poison is often nothing more than the dose, something only trained experts can safely walk. The second plant is larkspur, along with its close relative, the delphinium, those stunning tall stalks of deep blue and purple blooms that grace so many cottage gardens. Gorgeous as they are, these plants are seriously toxic, especially the young growth and the seeds, containing potent compounds that affect the body in dangerous ways. They have long been known to poison livestock that graze on them, and they pose a real risk to curious children and pets as well. If you grow these elegant blue spires, enjoy their beauty, but know exactly what they are and keep the little ones from handling or nibbling any part of them. They are such a staple of the classic flower border that most gardeners have grown them for years without the faintest idea of the danger tucked inside those beautiful blue spires. Third, we have the autumn crocus, a delicate and lovely flower that blooms in the fall and is often confused with the harmless spring crocus, though it is a completely different and far more dangerous plant. The autumn crocus contains an extremely potent toxin, and every part of it is poisonous. There is no gentle way to say it. This is one of the most dangerous plants a person might unknowingly grow, and it has caused serious harm to those who mistook it for something edible. If you have this plant in your garden, treat it with the utmost respect, and never allow any part of it near food or within reach of children. The real trouble comes from its resemblance to the harmless spring crocus, and even to wild garlic, which is exactly the kind of innocent mix-up that turns a lovely garden flower into a genuine hazard. The fourth plant is the hellebore, also known as the Christmas rose or Lenten rose, a charming early blooming flower treasured for bringing color to the garden in the coldest, grayest months. Its nodding blooms are a welcome sight, but hidden beneath that gentle beauty is real toxicity, because every part of the hellebore is poisonous and can also irritate the skin. It has been known and feared as a poison since ancient times. Enjoy the cheer it brings to your winter garden, but handle it with gloves. And be sure children and pets do not chew on its leaves or flowers. It is a plant that has been respected and feared for its potency since the days of the ancient healers, who knew far better than to take it lightly. Number 5 is the bleeding heart, that romantic, old-fashioned favorite whose arching stems dangle rows of perfect little heart-shaped blooms, beloved in shady gardens everywhere. As tender and sentimental as it looks, the bleeding heart is toxic if eaten, and its foliage can irritate the skin of sensitive people who handle it carelessly. Because it is so charming and so common in gentle, shady corners where children often play, it is well worth knowing about. Admire those delicate hearts, but teach the young ones that this pretty plant is for looking at, never for tasting. That simple rule, taught early and repeated often, is one of the surest ways to keep a curious child safe in any garden. The sixth plant is the sweet pea. And here, the danger is a sneaky one. Because while the flowers are famous for their heavenly fragrance, the plant is not the edible pea it resembles, and its seeds and pods are toxic if eaten. This is exactly the kind of dangerous confusion that leads to trouble, because the pods look so much like the garden peas we happily eat. Children in particular may be tempted to open and sample those pea-like pods, with harmful results. Grow sweet peas for their glorious scent and color, but keep those tempting pods well away from anyone who might mistake them for food. Nothing else is as important. This is one of the most common and dangerous confusions in the whole garden, because the resemblance to edible peas is so very convincing. Number 7 is the anemone, also called the windflower, a delicate and colorful spring bloomer that carpets many gardens in cheerful cups of color. Pretty as it is, the anemone contains an irritating compound that is toxic if eaten and can cause blistering and irritation to the skin and mouth. While rarely fatal, it can cause real misery, especially to a small child or a curious pet who chews on it. It is one of those plants whose gentle appearance hides a genuine bite. Enjoy its bright spring color, but be mindful of where you plant it and who might be tempted to touch or taste it. And finally, the 8th, the ornamental poppy, whose brilliant, papery blooms bring such drama and beauty to a garden bed. While the tiny seeds of certain poppies are used in baking, the plants themselves, and especially their milky sap and unripe pods, contain compounds that can be toxic, particularly to children and pets who might chew on them. It is a plant of real beauty and real potency, with a long and complicated history. Grow poppies for their stunning flowers if you wish, but understand what they contain, and keep curious hands and mouths away from the pods and the plant itself. Now let me speak gently to those of you who are caring for the most vulnerable among us. Perhaps you have young grandchildren who visit and explore your garden with curious hands and mouths, or a beloved dog or cat who likes to nibble on greenery, or an older loved one who is not always fully aware of what they touch or taste. I understand that protective worry, and I want to help you carry it. The single most loving thing you can do is simply to walk your garden with new, knowing eyes. Learn what is growing there, and either remove or fence off anything dangerous. It costs nothing but a little time, and it can prevent a real tragedy. To truly know your own garden is one of the quietest and most powerful ways to keep your family safe. Consider walking the beds together with the children in your life, turning it into a gentle lesson in which plants are friends to enjoy and which are simply to be admired from a distance. But honesty and care require that I say this very plainly. If you ever suspect that a child, an adult, or a pet has eaten any part of a poisonous plant, do not wait to see what happens. Contact your local poison control center or emergency services immediately, and if you can, take a piece of the plant with you so it can be quickly identified. Do not try to treat a serious poisoning yourself with home remedies. Fast, professional help is what saves lives. And if you are ever unsure whether a plant in your garden is dangerous, a local nursery, extension office, or poison control resource can help you identify it safely. It is also wise to keep that poison control number somewhere easy to find, on the refrigerator or saved in your phone, long before you ever need it, because in a frightening moment, those few seconds can feel like an eternity. So the next time you stroll through your garden, that familiar, beloved place you thought you knew so well, look at it with fresh and wiser eyes. Among the flowers you tend with such care, there may be quiet dangers you never suspected, hiding behind the loveliest of faces. This is not a reason to fear your garden, but a reason to truly understand it, the way our more careful ancestors once did, when knowing your plants was simply part of keeping your household safe. Learn these plants. Teach your children and grandchildren about them, walk your beds with open eyes, and stay with me, because knowing the hidden dangers of the natural world is exactly what allows us to enjoy its beauty in lasting peace. The goal was never to make you love your garden any less, only to help you know it as well as the wise old gardeners once did, so that every flower becomes a friend you understand rather than a stranger you trust blindly.